nobody hits as deep as we do. Nobody's gonna ask the real questions. Who gives a fuck what your favorite color is? Who gives a fuck why you chose the name you chose, right? Yes, it's important to the character, but dive deeper than that, because when you ask somebody, "Oh, where'd you get your name from?" they're going to give you a story from fucking, "Oh, my friend gave it to me when I was 12 years old. So now I rock that because it was my Xbox name." And what substance does that have to it, right? Okay, how did being on the Xbox impact you growing up, right? A lot of people find video games as a safe haven for them. Other people find video games as a relief for them. So understanding why that person is so attached to these things, these inanimate objects, it goes way deeper than that.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and man, today we got a former guest. We got a homie of mine, and I really wanted him to come back for the 2-year anniversary. I think that, man, we made it to 2 years. This shit's crazy. So go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, bro.
Man, first I want to say, happy 2 year to Sad Boy Radio. This is dope, man. Like, I've been seeing you grow for the past 2 years since you had Nico on here, and like, even like the way you interview is crazy. So, my name is Equan. I am the music manager for Nico Supremo and Patrick's son. Also, since the last time I was on here, I actually picked up some other business inquiry. So I am also the director of talent acquisition for a media company called Positive Space Media Group. And I tapped in with my big homie Mikey, aka Chicago Stick Up, aka Chicago Beats. I am the event manager for Space 333.
You've been making moves too. Everybody eats, bro.
Yeah, I got to, bro.
Real quick, go ahead and touch on those new roles a little bit.
Do you want me to tell you how I got them, how it happened?
Shit, how you got them, what you do. He said I got a really long fancy name for the first one.
So Positive Space Media Group. So basically what I do is I'm the director of talent acquisition. So what that means is that, like, if there's one of our clients, whether that be Circle K or some type of company that needs models, I go out there and I find the models to model or act or do whatever in these in whatever content they're trying to create. We are actually starting a modeling agency through Positive Space Media Group. Sorry, Hunter. Yes, I announced this on that, but I'm saying it now. We're launching a modeling agency through Positive Space Media Group, and we're going to be bringing out girls who wants to start their modeling career. We're going to be building their portfolio from the ground up.
Damn, bro. Make sure people, bro, not just girls. You got to be inclusive nowadays.
Okay, yes, you're right, you're right. I mean, male models as well, males as well, but, I'm good at pulling the lady. So, and then with Space 333, now this is dope, man. If you guys don't know who Chicago Stick Up is, this dude does it all. He's a graphic designer. He's a producer. He does music management, but he has this brand called Space 333, and it's all about providing a space for people who want to do anything creative in the music scene. And right now, we're building in Chicago and New York. So what we've been doing is hosting events, whether it's been live bands, and if an artist wanted a birthday party, listening parties, DJ parties, at our space, out in Wicker Park. So it's been pretty fun.
I feel like you're just a good people person, so it's not even a problem for you.
Most of the time, where people are coming to me about, I've been in their spot, so I know what you're thinking, what you're trying to do. You trying to beat you want the shortcuts, you want the cheap options. You want the easy way, you know what I mean? And I do my best to try to work with people and communicate with them. Also, with Space 333, we try not to gatekeep. So we don't want to feel like, oh, we only want to work with someone that got clout or someone that's popping. If a young dude that's in college and you got the money to pay for the space, you got a dope idea, let's do it. We can make it happen. And me myself, I work every event since I've been on a team, and helping with the events. I haven't missed an event yet. I like meeting people because not only are the events dope for Space 333, they're good for the team to network. So I've been meeting a lot of people.
That's a great thing to be able to be doing, right? Especially for the community, because there's so many people who don't know even where to start. You know, what's the first step to get there? And that's kind of like the perfect thing for today, right? The perfect transition. It's like, where do you even start? 2 years ago, we started and we didn't really have an end goal. We didn't have a vision. We just kind of wanted to be at the top. We wanted to get to know everybody. And it really was just genuine conversations. It wasn't anything more than, I didn't view it as a business opportunity. I viewed it as, damn, I get to have conversations with artists around Chicago, and I'm just building relationships. And as time went on, it turned into, all right, now this person wants an interview, this person wants an interview, and we become a platform that is well known throughout the area.
Over the past 2 years, you know, since you've been running Sad Boy Radio, has has the way you've booked people for the show changed? Like, is it more professional? Is it easier or is it harder?
I think it's harder in the sense that we're more selective. When we first started, it was just kind of, okay, let's find who we can bring on. Okay, you're an artist I know, you know somebody that I know. All right, let's make it happen. Let's make the schedule work. Now in those situations, it doesn't feel like I'm asking somebody to come on rather than, hey, they want to do it. You know, before it felt like a favor, like they were kind of reluctant to do it, but they're gonna do it because they know this person. Um, and just as time has gone on, right, now I'm able to be in the position where, okay, let's have a conversation. What are you about? Let me do my research about you. Let me actually get to know who you are prior to you even coming on. This is something I learned when I went to do an interview. Not everybody's a fit. They can have the biggest audience, but if they don't fit what you're talking about or what you're doing, then it doesn't even matter.
Do you feel like um, the people that you've interviewed, or you had like a previous relationship with them, or do you feel like after you interview them, that relationship grows or is created?
Everybody I interviewed prior to episode 10, I knew them. After episode 10, I had no clue who they were. The first time ever talking to them. And, you know, sometimes you want relationships to continue to grow, but it's just not something that's realistic at that time. Everybody's going through their own shit. So, shit, in all due time, bro. I mean, that was an episode title, right? And everything works out when it needs to work out. And you're in charge of what you do, but God's timing is just right for everybody.
But when you're outside and you see someone that you interviewed, they gonna show some love, right? What's up, bro?
Of course, bro.
Yeah, I like that. No, I gotta
That's
make
why
sure.
we're outside all the
No,
time.
I say that though because you know you can work with someone, y'all can make a song together, you can have a beat with them, and they will Hollywood you, bro. Some people do that. Some people act Hollywood, and we try our best to like not feel like it didn't happen, but some people do it. Some people think because they got 10,000 followers on social media that they're the greatest in the world. I'm like, bro, that 10,000 convert into streams? Does it convert into people coming to your shows? No, bro. So that 10K, you're Twitter famous, you know?
10,000 almost means nothing. And that's true with any number. You know, when we hit our first mill on the reel, I always thought when we hit a mill, that was going to be some huge monumental thing. We're going to go brag about it. You know, it's going to feel good. The shit didn't feel like anything. Because at the end of the day, I'm still in the same position I was in yesterday. I'm still in the same position I was in a month ago. I can't say a year ago because we're not in the same position. But yes, it helped us grow. But how much did it help us grow? What is it really doing? Because the same problems I have today, I'm still going to have them in a week. It doesn't matter because I went fucking viral one time.
Who was the 1 million view person?
It was OG Stevo.
Oh yeah, not surprised.
That's just crazy because, bro, and like, this isn't even a Stevo issue, but I told him, I'm like, yo, like, the video got fucked up, like, really bad. And I had to fix that shit. There was no audio on one camera, so I had to line it up manually. I also, one of the videos was shot in 1080. It was shot in HD. So I had to zoom it in so it would end up being 4K. Luckily, the picture was so clear that like it didn't even fuck with it. But like that's the little shit that people don't know, right? All these obstacles that we have to overcome, and that's it. Like, who am I gonna go complain to? Nobody's gonna give a fuck what I have to say. I'm gonna just make it happen. And to think that I was willing to, one, reshoot that, or two, like, the thought of, damn, this shit might not work, and it ended up being one of the biggest ones.
And shout out to XCVII, man. That's a dope artist. Definitely the next one coming up from Chicago for sure.
He got that show with Nardo, but I mean, it's the same day as our event, so fuck that event. But yeah, bro, I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, 2 years, the whole reason we're throwing the event, when you think of 2 years, that's what determines the fucking real workers from the fake workers. Like, you don't just get to 2 years fucking just going about your day. And for me, it was really about consistency, going through the motions and dealing with everything else you have to deal with. You have to choose between, going to a job. You have to choose between relationships, losing people. I've lost so many people along the way of doing this podcast, and that's just because I couldn't dedicate enough time to certain people. When it comes to relationships, friendships, whatever it is, you have to dedicate time to those. Otherwise, they're just going to end up dying.
Yeah.
We've used that metaphor a lot on this show, where friendships, relationships are like plants. You got to continuously water them. Without that, they're just going to end up literally dying. They need attention to flourish. And for us, I always chose everything but those relationships.
You have to move like that, right? Like, for you to be able to do what you do, you have to treat it like a relationship, right? First, you have to love it. When you love it, that means that you're thinking about it when you're not doing it. You are trying to figure out ways to grow it, and then you have to be committed to it, right? Once you commit to it, that means that you will sacrifice different things and times to make sure that you're dedicating your energy towards it. And then you have to understand it. And understanding it means, like, you have to be able to know how to build it and figure out what resources you need to make it grow, right? You got to be married to it. It's like married to the game. You have to be married to your craft, Like, I'm married to music management. Like, after Christmas, my OG died. And my mom passed away, and I knew we were in a process of dropping Pat's project. We're trying to put things out. We're trying to put things in motion. And I just had to lock in even more. I was like, I know I'm going to have to be the one that's going to have to lock in even more. I know people are going to be sad. People are going to be reaching out to me, but I can't slow down. I can't stop. But I still took the time to mourn my mother, but I also had time to make sure that I committed my time to Pat and Villain Energy.
How do you feel like you were able to make time for both? Because for you became basically the patriarch for your family. You're always involved with your younger sister now, who is in college, and she has to deal with that shit while you're dealing with your shit.
Luckily, my mom wrote everything down. So when someone's passed, you got to access their accounts. You need all their personal information, everything. So my mom wrote everything down. I got access to this journal. And it's so crazy too, because I feel like for Pat project, one thing, the symbol of his project is like a journal, and that when my mom passed, that's what I had. It was a journal with all her information in it and that allowed me to just do everything at different times. And my job was so flexible, where it allowed me to step away for a bit and take care of business. So during the day, I'm calling insurance companies, I'm calling funeral homes. I'm reaching out to the graveyard, and then at night, me and Pat was in the studio. We're planning our trip to Wisconsin. We're figuring out the cover art and all that stuff. So it was about balance, I'm doing this during the day, I'm doing this during the night. So it was a crazy time. I will say I was stressed, I was tired, I was losing sleep. But I was locked in. Like, I was getting it done. Like, I didn't care. I was like,
why do you feel like you were pushed even harder with that loss?
My mom felt untouchable. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think I would lose her at the age of 26. So I was like, wow, life it can be gone in a heartbeat. Anything can happen. So if I don't take the chance of action and do what I need to do now and get things done, I may, life is short. I may miss out on something. So I need to be more than focused. if I just like if I'm sorrow and I'm sad all the time, shout out to Sad Boy Radio. If I'm down and it slows me down and it pushes back the project or any work I got going on with Space 333 or Positive Space Media Group, I'm only hurting myself. I don't want to set myself back. I put in too much work for that, so I didn't want to allow it to set me back. I use it as a motivation. Like now, everything I do it for my mom. Like it's in her name. You feel me? Like it's gonna eventually be tatted on me, but it's for her because this when she was here, she wanted me to work hard. So while she gone, I'm gonna work harder.
That mentality is something that had always pushed me as well, right? Not knowing when it's all gonna end. And that's why I look to artists like they're ironic artists, but I love their music, G-Eazy and Ed Sheeran. Those are two people who they talk about it in their music. Like I had to leave home. I had to go find what I want to do and make sure that I pursue it to the fullest extent before I can give myself to anybody or anything. And in the song Everything Is Everything by G-Eazy, I'm gonna pull it up right now. He says, she said, you chose this after all we've been through. A fuck boy, how could you be so forgetful? You think they all real and they'll stay with you. And if you're not that dumb, I'm mad I ever fuck with you. You think you're that real till that limelight hits you.
Mm-hmm.
And you could think of it as like fucking he went to fuck another bitch, or you could think of it as I chose this lifestyle. I chose being famous. I chose pursuing this music shit to the fullest extent. And now this person who I've been supposedly giving all my time to, this person that I'm supposed to be in love with, this person that I'm supposed to make my world, they're not getting that. So they're never going to understand that shit. They're not going to understand what it takes to reach this level for you.
When it comes to any type of thing you're trying to grow, this is where you want to live the rest of your life. This is what you want to do for the rest of your life. This is something, because Sad Boy Radio can, and let me ask you this, do you think Sad Boy Radio, or do you want Sad Boy Radio to be bigger than just a podcast?
I want to make it literally the biggest podcast in the world. I want to make it the biggest radio station in the world. I want to make it as big as it possibly can, right? I want to be able to throw a festival. I know everybody fucking says that when they throw an event, but I want to be able to throw a festival because I'm going to have access to all these artists. The thing that separates us from everybody, and I always tell everybody this when they bring up another podcast to me, they tell me, oh, what about this podcast? I'm like, bro, nobody does what I do. And the reason I say that is because nobody hits as deep as we do. Nobody's going to ask the real questions. Who gives a fuck what your favorite color is? Who gives a fuck why you chose the name you chose, right? Yes, it's important to the character, but dive deeper than that, because when you ask somebody, oh, where'd you get your name from, they're going to give you a story from fucking, oh, my friend gave it to me when I was 12 years old. So now I rock that because it was my Xbox name. And what substance does that have to it, right? Okay, how did being on the Xbox impact you growing up, right? A lot of people find video games as a safe haven for them. Other people find video games as a relief for them. So understanding why that person is so attached to these things, these inanimate objects, it goes way deeper than that.
I will say this too, is one thing that I see from looking from the outside looking in is that I know when you're gonna drop an episode. Like I know your schedule now. Like I know the days you're gonna interview, and I know the days you're gonna drop. And I think that makes you different because you're dropping a lot of content. And for you to do that, you have to be committed.
The fact that it comes down to creating so much content, pushing it out, right? You're not the first person that told me, oh, I know your schedule. Like, if you don't drop on a Friday, I know there's something wrong because we've been at it for so long. And finding the time to really just do it, it's fucking hard, bro. I think that that's something that really is taken for granted. And when you look at another artist, when you look at anybody else, once they just stop doing it, you're like, damn, what the fuck happened to them? And then 2 weeks pass and you don't give a fuck anymore. It's like, well, did any of that content ever matter? And that's why I say, like, there's still real problems at play. Like, these stresses that I go through, and my problems this year are nothing compared to what they were when I started this shit. So, I'm blessed for that. But I'm still stressing. I'm exhausted. Like right now, bro, I'm fucking as tired as can be. And that's because I'm on my phone, I'm on my computer, I'm on that shit all day. I'm at work working on this shit. I'm trying to push an event that, I want people to be a part of. I want to create normalcy with having DJs headline these shows because, bro, look at like the crowd that these people bring out. Inez, Drip, Santos, like these are people that are passionate about music, having a good time, people that are passionate about the energy that these people, give out. Inez, Santos, and Drip, they're just dope ass people, bro. And then being able to add Marce, Bugatti, and Nico to that shit's fucking amazing because Nico was on our 1 year episode. Nico's the homie. Marce and Bugatti, they're fucking lit as fuck, bro. They're amazing reggaeton artists. And I'm sure that one day, they'll be on the biggest festivals with fucking Bad Bunny, Rao, like all of them. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because those 6, they fit the Sad Boy Radio lineup so well. Like, it makes sense because all of those 3 fit each other. And then the brain of Sad Boy Radio, it fits them. So I'm glad that they're on that lineup. I'm excited to see how that goes because I've seen the Sorry Poppy tour that King and Ness has done, and this is kind of like how this is like the Chicago version of it. You know what I mean?
It's not to take away from any of the girls, any of the women that are a part of fucking Sorry Poppy, but this event is literally the homies, bro. Like it's literally the homies coming together. And that's what made it so special for me is I was able to bring all these people I've interviewed back together into one space and create something that's, putting on for Sad Boy Radio, but also putting on for themselves. Like, bro, we had Drip talk about finding out the kid that he thought was his wasn't his. That was the first time I ever fucking talked to Drip. We had Inez talking about toxic relationships. Who fucking knows that about Inez? Nobody.
Because she is your girlfriend's favorite DJ. So no one's thinking about that toxic shit.
When I first saw Inez's profile, I'm like, damn, she's really about her own shit. Like she's a boss. Like she for real is a boss. So to think that she was ever in a toxic relationship, that thought would have never it never occurred to me. You know what I'm saying? And then Santos let his first interview be a Sad Boy Radio interview. And he still tells me to this day, like, honestly, like, I don't know if I'd do an interview with anybody else, but I would definitely do another one with you.
That's dope because, like, as I feel like as a podcaster, you get a win out of getting information from someone that they won't, they usually don't open up to anywhere else because that's what it usually. People are always trying to ask questions and they want to know if they have to choose that platform to first provide the information, right? So for them to come to your space, to your brand, to your podcast and say those things, you're doing something right.
It was obviously a learning experience. That's the number one thing is that at the end of the day, and I've said it so many times, we didn't just end up here. We didn't just become Chicago's #1 music podcast. We didn't become the platform that everybody wants to come to. I'm sure like I can name 3 other podcasts right now. I can almost guarantee you, I don't know, but I can almost guarantee you they're the ones hitting up their guests though. It's not somebody hitting them up and being like, yo, let me get on this platform real quick.
That's called gatekeeping.
I'm talking about more so from the fact that like they're reaching out because they're still at that point where like I still gotta do the groundwork, and I was at that point at one point,
I see
right?
what you're saying. Yep. Recently, you've been posting the toxic tales. Now, I replied to all of them on Instagram because they are literally funny to me. It's funny because like. You want to ask all the questions, and you were asking some funny questions, but I'm like, this man wants to say something else. So I know you're holding himself back. Is that something that you're gonna do more, like spring of 2023, summer of 2023?
Yeah, bro. I mean, where's the cameraman? I got the cameraman in here right now. My boy Diego, he fucking shot it. He co-edited it.
Oh, it was
with
you and
me.
Diego out there?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Vic was there too, but
oh man.
Diego was shooting it. Bro, we got a funny one with Vic coming out. we got a funny one.
Like Vic got the mic.
You're gonna see, but
Don't give it away. Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
Diego, he shot it. He co-edited it with me. He mainly did like the big edits. I just went in there, tweaked some shit. It's all like a team thing, bro. And I think that when it comes to doing shit like that, you gotta have a great team. without a team, like I can't be out there shooting that shit myself and fucking talking. And it's having fun with it. You know, sometimes we do get lost in the fact that like, man, we're not making money with this shit. Sometimes we forget that like we started this shit just because it was fun and we had a passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it's come down to, is that I haven't taken the break to figure out like, okay, what's next? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? How do I continue to grow this? Because we've interviewed big DJs. We've interviewed the biggest DJs in Chicago, international artists. You know, we've interviewed big artists, D-Lo, Josh K. Who the fuck else? Like we've interviewed big people, but we just haven't had that one OG Steve. We haven't had that shit that just pops, and it's never just gonna do that because we hit 1 million and that shit didn't do shit to my follower count.
Yeah, yeah.
It's literally being consistent with how you post and looking at, okay, I built this up. Let's go grab somebody big. Let's make sure that, you know, we're having them promote that shit. Cause you can get the biggest artists on here, and if they don't post it one time, it don't fucking matter.
One thing I realized though is when you have a team of people, everyone has an idea, everyone's contributing things. So when you have a team, I think you need two things. Each person needs to have these two things in them. They have to be coachable, and they have to be able to take feedback, right? Because as a team, you guys are doing things as a collective. So you're not gonna always agree. So what's gonna happen is someone's gonna give their feedback, and the person receiving that feedback has to be able to take it, do what they do with that feedback, but come back with, either with better actions or better ideas, or they have to have a counter argument that makes sense, that's just as good as that feedback, right? And being coachable means that if you have old habits that you've learned somewhere else, but those old habits just don't fit this situation, you have to be able to have someone has to be able to coach you and show you like, hey, this is what works over here. Learn this and let's do it this way, because that's what's gonna help us get to the top. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that you guys have that team. Every time I'm in here, I see Vic and Diego. You know what I mean? Which is pretty dope. You know, I could tell these guys, fuck with Sad Boy Radio. Vic over here been adjusting the cameras. You know, some people wouldn't do that. Some people like, nah, bro, like, I ain't trying to do that shit right now. You feel me? Like, people be thinking about pussy, money, weed all the time. But when people trying to get to when everybody got, like, a goal together, they make sure they get shit shaking.
It's just bouncing those ideas off each other, right? Making sure that, like you said, being coachable, but not even being coachable, but being open to different suggestions. When it comes to being open to different suggestions, okay, let's try it out. But if it doesn't look right, okay, let's switch back. Let's switch gears, right? Because there's only an issue when you cannot fix it. If you can't fix a situation and it's completely broken, it's like, fuck, like what the fuck are we doing? But being able to make sure that everything's all set, we're making sure that we both understand each other. Communication is one of the biggest things, whether it's a relationship, a friendship. If you don't have that open-ended communication, it's like everything's gonna fall apart.
As a team and with Sad Boy Radio, what were some of the highs and the lows that you guys have faced over the past 2 years?
When people don't fucking post, my thing is, we put in, how long do we record? We record for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Editing, say I have to do the color grade, say the color grade's difficult, 2 hours. The editing part, you're making sure that the edit looks fucking good, moving it around, like this shit does not look fucking how it looks on camera, and making the cuts. So realistically, you're putting in at least 10 hours of work post-production. So think about that shit. I wrote this shit. I came to record this shit. I did the edits post-production. And this is why I say, like, at this point, if you're going to hit me up, yeah, we're going to be looking for some sort of compensation, because I'm putting in 10 hours of work and I just broke it down how I do it. You just got to show up and talk about yourself.
Yeah, no, you have a good point.
You're getting a whole fucking campaign. Like, literally, think about it. You're getting a whole press reveal, because On top of that, we're cutting clips. We're posting reels throughout the whole fucking week. We're posting on our story, getting people to come through. YouTube Shorts, TikTok, like all that shit.
Put in all that work. I know it takes time, and that brings me to my next question. Do you guys plan on growing your team?
No.
Do you see anyone else joining?
No, I mean, an intern,
What's holding you guys back from growing the team?
there's no one needed. I mean, realistically, yeah, it would be great to have somebody to help me out with the editing portion. I'm sure Vic would fucking want somebody to help him out with the recording portion. I think that takes a lot of trust to bring in another person because it's a well-oiled machine. You don't fix what's not broken. So if nothing's broken, why would we bring in somebody else who might fuck up the cameras? Why would we hand it over to somebody who doesn't know how to make those cuts yet? And it's also got to be somebody willing and passionate enough to do what we do.
I also think that it's about you want someone to love it as much as you do, right? Because even an intern, intern sounds like they're doing it to put on a resume. You want someone that's committed to the brand, to the cause, to the purpose. Someone that's gonna make the sacrifices and put in the time that you're willing to put into this. Let's say if someone comes to that person that's part of Sad Boy Radio, and they want to be on a podcast, and they come to that person you just brought on. If this person isn't saying something you would say to that individual, then they're not committed, right? Don't go out there, don't be part of a brand and giving out false promises. I wouldn't do that, right? So you want to bring on someone that really knows the brand, someone that understands, that knows you, that gets it, and that wants to also see you win. He's not there for the fame, the clout. Oh man, I'm part of Sad Boy Radio. You want someone to be like, man, I'm grateful and I'm honored to be part of this.
How do you even determine that? How do you get to that point?
It sometimes it's natural. It happens naturally.
I don't know, bro. I don't see it getting to that point.
I had a conversation with my homie the other day. We said that a lot of people, when you're building a brand, you're building a house. You're building an office. And some people want a room in that office before the house is even built. You know what I mean? Before that building is even completed. So what you have to do is tell people, hey, if you want to office in this building, you need to pick up a hammer and put in work just like us. You know, you have to help us build the foundation. Or if the foundation is already there, you got to get to drilling and add your own value to this place, you know? Because that's how most brands grow. You have to figure out something or someone that's going to help this brand take it to the next level, not just someone to do the job.
Just building together. I think that's the most important thing because you got to go through the trenches with people, bro, to really understand what they're like and what they're willing to do for you and how far they're willing to take this with you, right? Like with Vic, bro, like, shit, we've been at it for 2 years. Like, how many other people would have been willing to do all of this shit for 2 years and continue to see the growth, you know, until the end?
When you experience tragic moments with people too, like that brings you guys close together and you're willing to, you know, help somebody get something done. Like two different situations, both with Nico and Pat. With Nico, I was there with everything was going on with his dad. You know, his dad, there was a moment when we found him in the garage. He was on the ground. He was bloody. And Nico's mom woke me up. I was sleeping over at his crib. His mom woke me up, and I was the first one to see him when I went down there. He was laying on the floor. It was bloody. And then fast forward, you know, his dad passed from alcoholism. You know what I mean? So that brought me and Nico close together. And I was like, bro, like, I'm here for you. His mom tells me that I'm Nico's older brother, and Nico says the same thing. Me and Nico are brothers, you know? So, like, I was like, bro, I'll do anything for you, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here with you with this music, do anything. With Pat, the night my mom died, we were at the gym. And I remember being on treadmill, I was next to him. I was like, bro, I just got a text from my sister that my mom's getting rushed to the emergency room. And then we're in the locker room. We're getting ready to leave, me and Pat. And then I'm putting on my hoodie. And my brother called me, and he's crying. I hear my sister in the background. I'm like, yo, what? They're like, yeah, you know, mom's gone. I said, Pat, drive me to the hospital. He didn't hesitate. He didn't say a word. We go to the gym in Lakeview. He went from Lakeview to Hyde Park, it felt like 5 minutes. You know, that ain't a 5 minute drive. It felt like 5 minutes. And I realized that at that moment, I was like, yeah, this is my brother for life. You know, he did that for me. You was here for me. And like, the project was on the way. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm finna put all my time and money into this because what you just did for me, bro. Like, when you experience situations like that, you know that these guys, these my brothers, and I'll build with you guys, and we can with that type of like chemistry, we can take over the world.
What do you feel like are some moments that establish that relationship, vice versa?
There's just times where bread ain't looking right for people. You know what I mean? So you help. Hey, bro, I got you. I can make sure I can help you take care of this.
By the way, Equan's a big baller, so hey, hit his line.
Man, I ain't no big baller, bro. I got financially smart. You know, I just started making better financial decisions. But
like getting a dog.
Yeah, getting a dog. That was not a great financial decision.
It's a terrible financial decision.
Horrible. Dogs are expensive, bro. But just like helping, making sure I was there for him at different times. I mean, Pat, I don't mean to put this out here, but bro was finna be homeless, and I was gonna be like, hey, you can move in with me. Like, but bro ended up finding him a crib, and he knew that like I would be there for him at that time, even if he needed me. And then, man, with Nico, man, I was in a situation where I had to pay a lawyer. You know, I'm dealing with some legal shit, and I'm struggling, pockets empty. I had no job. This is like 2018, 2019. And I was like, bro, like, I need this $400 to send to my lawyer. My lawyer gonna drop me, whatever. And Nico sent me that money, and I was like, bro, like, you my brother. Like, that's you. I'm free because of you, bro. You know what I mean? I'm free.
I was $400 away from being fucked.
Yeah, I was $400 away. I'm locked up. You know.
I was gonna say, imagine that like situation, but that's actually people's situation out there. So shit, that's fucked.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. No, dead ass, because like I've been in a courthouse where people are being sent to, like, their life is just done for, like, because they didn't have a lawyer. And you could have beat that case because that lawyer would have said what they needed to say.
For you, what do you feel like is one of the biggest sacrifices you've made when it comes to this music shit?
I feel guilty about this, and it's kind of crazy to say this. I pushed my family away for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I stopped spending time with them. I wasn't going to nobody graduations, no proms, no birthday parties, even funerals. And I had started to realize that because it felt like my family didn't know me. You know what I mean? Like, they would say things about me that I don't have no interest in no more, or they would say things I used to do that I have no I have no habits. Like, I don't do that no more. And I was like, you guys don't know me because I don't come around. I'm spending all this time in a studio. I'm spending all this time in a club, or I'm so locked in on throwing events that I forgot that family's important. You know what I mean? Because that's blood. And so I've actually been trying to take the time to spend time with family, like go to baby showers. One of my cousins locked up. We talked on the phone.
Oh, the one that be sending you music?
Yeah, he was sending me music. You know, I be trying to talk to him. He got his girl. You know, she committed. Like, she doing everything for him to get him out, and she's sending me music, asking me for advice with the music stuff. So that's like the bigger sacrifice that kind of been in my head. Everything else, like, that I sacrificed, I have no regrets. You know, like, it was necessary.
It's hard, man. You know, especially when it comes to having to make those decisions of, do I really have the time to be there for somebody? We feel like time is so like limited that at any moment it can be gone. So we're so focused on making sure that we're setting ourselves up for life. We're trying to become rich. Everybody's trying to get rich quick, or whatever your motive is within this industry, right? Whether it's money, whether it's fame, whether it's fucking Equan's motivation is getting bitches, bro.
Bitches. I'm glad you knew it.
So when it comes to all of those things, and then you take a look back and you look at all these moments you missed, you look at the relationships that you don't have with those people. I think about my little sister, man. You know, she's 15 years old, and I don't really have like the strongest relationship with her. I have a relationship with her, but imagine you're 15 years old and none of your older siblings really pay attention to you because they have so many other things going on in their life. Whereas me and my brother, we grew up together. My younger sister, yeah, we're not that close, but she at least had us around,
How
and
many of you guys are there?
there's 4 of us,
For you guys?
and we're all already over 18. So my youngest sister, she has to go through fucking finishing middle school, starting high school, all of that shit, and who she really has to talk to. I'm never at the fucking house, bro. I'm always doing some shit. I'm always at an event. I'm always recording. I'm editing, and I'm so
You be
focused.
outside, man. You be outside for sure.
I'm so focused on what's going on as far as my personal life, as far as my work life, that I forget about the people that are around me. And I've talked about this a lot when it comes to having those blinders, having tunnel vision, that you don't see what's around you.
Have you felt like you've grown in those areas, like like professionally and personally? I know like there's sometimes we feel like we're not doing things right professionally and personally, but do you feel like you've grown in those areas?
As far as like making sure I still have relationships with my family, I don't think I've ever gotten to the point where they don't know who I am and what I do. But I think that I can make a better effort as far as like helping them out when they need the help. For me, I'm just so focused on, like I said, everything I have to do professionally. Hell yeah, I've grown, bro. Like, I do all this editing shit. I would have never been able to do that shit 2 years ago. That fucking step and repeat I made, I would have never been able to do that shit a year ago.
Are you self-taught? Like you taught a lot of this?
Vic showed me how to do the fucking cuts. He showed me the basic shit. He probably showed me how to adjust the light on iMovie, but that was it. You know, once it came down to like how to do the colors, fucking make that shit pop, everything. Like I I literally had to just sit there and look at what it was doing. I think that professionally I've definitely grown a lot as far as my skill, and that's why I see myself as like, hey, you know, now it's not free no more.
I get that too, man, because like especially because there's high demand for this podcast as well. And when I be outside, I always bring you up. Y'all heard of Sad Boy Radio, and people are saying it, so people want to be on here. They want to use this content, and content is the most important thing right now. Digital content, I think, is one of the top 2 important things for any type of brand. So if people are coming to you for that digital content to be on your podcast, it's gonna cost them because it costs you your time, and time isn't cheap. I want to go back to this Sad Boy Radio event. The anniversary of 2-year anniversary, which I'm super excited for on March 31st. I know it wasn't easy putting this together. I know it's been a journey. So what's some of like the most difficult things you've dealt with?
Pushing tickets, bro. Honestly, like at the end of the day, it all comes down to like the uncertainty. I said it like this recently. When it comes to investing into anything, you're fucking taking a risk, bro. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. You don't know if it's gonna rain. You don't know if there's gonna be a fucking fire. And those are extremes. Raining's not, but having a fire, shit like that. It gets really hard when your self confidence is almost like at a 0
Mm-hmm.
because you're putting in so much work every fucking day to make content, to make flyers, to fucking, and you know, I had help with the flyers, but there'd be some times where I have to fix a flyer, I have to make a new flyer, I have to do all this shit. So, you know, I want to shout out my boy Frankie. I want to shout out Demir. I haven't released his flyers yet, but we got more flyers. You know, having to be on the fucking phone, having to be on the computer all day, and when it feels like nobody gives a fuck because you don't see tickets moving, you see likes. The fuck's a like doing for me? You know, I appreciate people liking it, but it's not doing anything for me because I can't guarantee that I'm gonna see you out that night. This is a celebration for what we've accomplished, for all that we've been through. Yeah, I've talked about my problems for fucking 2 years, but I've also shown light on a lot of fucking artists around Chicago. And for all the artists that want to be on this fucking show, come the fuck out. Like, why the fuck? Make it make sense real quick, right? Make it make fucking sense. If you are an aspiring artist or an artist and you want to be on somebody's platform, why would you not spend $20 to go fucking try to introduce yourself?
I was actually talking to a friend a few days ago about networking, right? You have to know why you're going to an event and what's important about that person, what they can bring. Some people can tell you anything. Some people can look like they can help you, but they can't. So I do think if someone recognizes that going to this event, they can network. Um, they should buy a ticket. You know what I mean?
Think about how much money I spent on to get into a club. Before I knew Inez, before I knew Drip, before I knew any of these DJs. And I was still making my way to the DJ booth to try to introduce myself because I knew it was an opportunity that I couldn't miss. It's like, why wouldn't you do the same thing?
You understand that. You know, that's the reason why there's Sad Boy Radio. That's why you see success, because you get that. Some people don't, and that's why they don't see success. Really, like, I ask myself that question all the time. It's like, why isn't this person understanding this is what you should be doing or this is how this works? It's because they just don't. There's no one telling them, and then they're not looking in a mirror or having any self-reflection or, thinking about it. So that's why they don't think that way. So you can't be like beating yourself up over that.
It's not only just artists, bro. It's fucking people. It's like, bro, think these fucking toxic tales. Fucking anybody I met out in the club, anybody that's fucking resonated with this shit. Like, maybe you don't care about it. Maybe you don't care about Sad Boy Radio. Okay. You don't care about it? Cool. But for those of people that have had that one clip that have resonated with them, that hit home, that really made you think like, damn, like this dude's spitting. Damn, they got that artist. Damn, this artist actually is interesting. They are deeper than who they portray themselves to be. Nobody else is going to be doing what I fucking do. And I will say it all the time because I genuinely believe that. And it comes down to the fact that nobody's going to be able to do what you do. Nobody's going to be able to make music like Nico. Nobody's going to be able to DJ like Inez. Inez, Drip, Santos, they're all different. Preem, different.
You've done some unique shit, and out of those things you've done, what are the things that you're most proud of?
Bro, I think honestly at the end of the day, it's the interviews that I was able to do. When it comes to being in this industry, you never know what people are going to be like. You never know how far you can go. And like another interview, Ozone was a person that from day one, I was on a boat with him. He didn't know who the fuck I was. I showed up because I got invited by somebody from V5. And as time went on, Ozone noticed what I was doing. He was a fan. He was a genuine fan of this shit. Like, he showed up and was like, damn, this is a Sad Boy Radio room. Like, I never thought of it like that. I never thought that people really watch this shit and are like, damn, I wonder what that room looks like. And for this big-ass DJ that I looked up to, that I wanted to interview from day one, that shit meant a lot.
Fun fact, after one of King and Ness's DJ parties at Virgin Hotels, she had an after party at
Juliana's?
Yeah, so she had the after party there, and they was charging a cover. And I didn't know they were charging a cover because I was just walking up with Bodie, and I'm drunk. From a distance, I see DJ Ozone, and I just shouted, Ozone fucking up the game. What is it?
Fucking up the game.
Yeah, Ozone fucking up the game. I like shouted it across the street, and he like looked at us. He's like, "Oh, what's up, man?" Like, "What's good, bro? Equan, this is my boy Bodie." He's like, "Y'all trying to get in?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come in with me," and they were like, "Cover," and Ozone was like, "Nah, they with me." That was my first time talking to the dude.
Ozone fucking took me to Mecarito the other day. That is literally the homie, bro.
Your brand is helping you grow relationships and friendships even, and I've seen that in the music management side. Like, Bodie, him working, like even him, man. I'm sorry that I took it so long to speak on him, but like even Bodie, that relationship with like that's my brother now. We hang out all the time. He's always he went to New York with us. He came to Wisconsin with us. He mixed and mastered Superstar by Nico, and he also is the main engineer for Villain Energy. Like the dude's talented and his music is good. And he's been coming through clutch, man. He's been helping us out. He gave me advice on. He the one that told me, I got a studio in the crib. He was the one that told me where to buy the equipment. So like, just from working with him, we've grown to bond. Like that's family. So this is what the music scene does. It helps you get brothers, friends. Some people are finding their loved ones in the scene, So
Nah, fuck all that.
shit, I need me a girl that's gonna sing a little bit,
It's we found love in a hopeless place. Look your ass. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you coming through. Thank you for celebrating 2 years with us. We should have took some shots, but oh well.
Shout out to Sad Boy Radio, man. This is a dope thing you guys are doing. 2 years. I can't wait to see 20. So
That's gonna be all. Thank you for watching. Shit. Make sure you guys pop out to Sad Boy Radio anniversary, March 31st. This one's coming out on my birthday, March 29th. So you guys better fucking buy a ticket. That's all I want for my fucking birthday. Not some big booty hoes. I want you to buy a fucking ticket. That's gonna be all, guys. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Sad Boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
Broken pieces, who's to blame?